And welcome to your favorite evening talk show right here on MX24 TV. My name is Oforiwaa and I am your host. We're here to bring you thought-provoking conversations and intriguing conversations that you love to be a part of. I don't do this by myself. I do this with my amazing guests in the studios who you'll be getting to know very soon. And of course, you who are my very, very important guests who get to be part of the conversation from the comfort of your homes, your shops, or wherever you may be watching us from. This is an interactive show, so do well to send in your comments, your thoughts, opinions, and be part of the conversation by keeping it polite and respectful. Like I said, this is a very interactive show, so do well to send in your comments through the WhatsApp number, or better still, any of our social media platforms with the hashtag The Dish on MX24 TV. Tonight promises to be very, very interesting. But before that, Betway says I should tell you that football season may be over, but the fun never stops with Aviator. So take to the skies in Aviator with a maximum payout of up to 100 Ghana cedis right here on Betway. Have a spin on the roulette wheel, try our live game shows, or better still, claim a royal stash in the popular Kings of Cash. The variety is endless with casino, lottery style, and live games only at betway.com.gh. Of course, it also says that the variety, so I've said that the lottery, the casino, the live games is only available on betway.com.gh, and this is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana and not permitted for persons below 18 years. So terms and conditions are applied, and Betway says bet your way. Now, it's about time I introduce you to my guest in the studio, and tonight we'll be discussing being a woman in today's economy. It's not an easy feat to be a woman alone, and then in our economy today, being a woman is even more difficult or stressful. To help us with this discussion, I'm going to be talking to two amazing ladies, and by the end of the show, I believe that you're going to learn a lot from it. Some will say that womanhood is being tender. Others will say that womanhood is being strong, or it requires strength to be a woman. We see a lot of women doing amazing things in the society, trying to make significant impact and growth in their various industries, whereas it comes with its own challenges. It is also rewarding to be a woman in today's economy, or in times today. A lot of women are owning their narrative and changing the stereotypes that society has imposed on us. By the close of tonight, I believe that we will learn more. Just last week, I was here with the Hansens and we discussed as to whether women need more seats at the table. Tonight, we're also discussing what it means to be a woman in today's economy. Joining me for this discussion is right next to me, Mrs. Ellen Amadaku, who is an NPP communicator and also a woman and children's advocate. Good evening to you and welcome to The Dish.
Good evening. And my name is Miss.
Okay, so the Mrs.
I'm no more married. I'm divorced.
Okay.
Proudly divorced.
Okay.
And yes, and
So
add the businesswoman to it too.
Oh yeah, she's a businesswoman as well. She deals in everything and anything, so contact her.
Good evening. I'm pleased to be here.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
And next to her, we have Sheila Ama Asari, who is the CEO of She Salon and She Bridal. Hi, beautiful.
Hi.
Are we getting ready for any bridal party this weekend?
Oh, yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Am I invited?
Of course.
Okay. So we have women from the various industries, and we're going to hear from them what they think it means to be a woman in today's economy. So I'm going to start off with you, Miss Adaku. Miss Daku.
Miss Deku.
It's Deku,
Pronounce it
not
as
Daku.
E-E.
Okay.
Even though it's spelled A-E.
Yes. Okay, so Miss Deku.
Yes.
Thank you for coming through for us.
Thank you.
And I have followed a bit of you, and I just like how outspoken you are. And even the little conversation we had before the show. Yes, so I'm very sure that we are going to learn a lot. But before I even begin, would you say, or do you agree when we say that we have evolved as women from the days where we were fighting for equality, fighting to get more seats and all of that? How would you say the progress has been so far as a woman?
Good evening once again.
Yeah, good evening.
I would say that, yes, we have evolved, but it's been a slow, painful process, especially for women in Africa and for women in Ghana.
Okay.
It's been tough for us. We've had women who have already led us, who have already blazed the trail for us. They did it, and it was tough, extra tough for them. It's slightly easier for us now, but it's still tough. It's still very tough to be a woman. I would like to talk about us in Ghana, because I think that is our immediate situation. In other African countries, it's a bit easier. They made laws and policies that is pushing the cause of women. In Ghana, it's still very tough. I mean, the affirmative action bill is still in Parliament. It's been there for over 20 years. So it means that bill went to Parliament when I was 20 years old. I'm 40, and it's still there. And it hasn't been passed because we do have very few women in Parliament. As we speak now, out of a Parliament of 275, we have 40 women. 20 on the NPP side, 20 on the NDC side. And when the NDC went for their primaries, some women fell.
So that's less.
And the NPP is also on the way to our primaries. It means, I don't know what will happen. Hopefully, we can increase. But it's highly likely that we are going to lose some women. So when you have just 40 people, 40 women in a Parliament of 275, how do they push the agenda of women?
Right.
So it's a tough business for us women in politics. And then we're also talking about the economy. Whether you like it or not, Ghanaian women over the years, our mothers were part of the economy. Some of us had grandmothers who had shops and sold cloth. They are in the markets. I mean, when you enter the market, it is women.
The traders are mostly women, true.
It's women. And so, yes, it's tough. Whenever there's any economic crisis, and like there was COVID, and we are now coming out with everything, I think women and children actually feel the brunt more. Yes, the men do feel it. But as I keep on saying, you've never seen a lizard with this child behind it. The men, I'm not saying they are irresponsible, but a man can choose that at this point, I can't take it and take a break. A woman can never take a break. If you're a mother especially, you cannot take a break. No matter how tired you are, no matter what it is, you have to be there. So whilst the man can take a break, you can't. And when you're even a single mother, your case is extra, because you're doing the work of the father, you're doing the work of the mother. So no break for you. And for Ghanaian mothers, a lot of us, we might still be married, but some of our women are very married and are very single. They're still taking the load. The husband might be out of town, might be out of Ghana for economic reasons, for whatever reasons. So even though they are married, they are still single parents. So for women in Ghana, the process has been good, but it's been a very slow and painful process.
Okay, so before I go to Sheila, I just want to follow up with what you said in your submission. You mentioned that mostly during elections or within the primaries with the NDC, some women fell, and you're hoping that with the NPP you can increase as you're going to the primaries.
I'm not too hopeful.
You're not too hopeful. That's even sad. Why do you think, or why would you say that it's difficult for society to empower women or to give such positions to women? Why should it be so?
Parliamentary positions are won by an election.
Okay.
And elections are very expensive businesses in Ghana. Going for any election in this country is very expensive.
Okay.
And so going for parliamentary elections, recently there was some CDD and a few other, what do we call them, civil society did an account of how much it costs to run a constituency election in Ghana. And they pegged the figure at $1 million. From the day you will say, I'm interested, to when you are elected. How many Ghanaian women have $1 million sitting somewhere? How many Ghanaian women can raise $1 million? And then when you become the MP, we live in a society where everything is on the MP. I have worked for certain MPs in their campaigns, and that is what has put me off ever contesting for an MP. I don't think I have the ambition to do it, because on both sides, on both MPP and DC side, you, the MP, become the father or the mother of the constituency. You have people lining up at your gate, coming for school fees, health bills. In fact, some come all the way for outdooring money. I remember an experience I had in Wenchi. Bono region. That's my region and where I vote.
Okay.
The former MP, Professor Jambafo, had to deal with a constituent who was going to marry a third wife and had come to the MP for funding. The MP has a wife. He has one wife. I mean, these are the sort of things as a society we take from our MPs. Some MPs, as much as 4 a.m. when they hit their constituencies, people are standing at their gates. So after using the $1 million to get elected, you have to also look for money to take care of your constituents. Now, assuming you are an opposition party, or you are an opposition MP, how do you fund it? Even if you are in government, it is not all MPs who are in government who get ministerial positions. And being a minister does not necessarily mean that you are going to get any extra money. So if you realize the MPs who have a strong hold on their constituencies, like one of my other constituencies, the Abetifi constituency, my MP, Brian Champon, he has other businesses.
Okay.
The Rock City, he has a host of other businesses that he was doing before he became an MP. So he supports his constituency with his businesses. My former MP, Jambafo, had cashew farms. How many women are able to build themselves to that level?
Okay.
And we are talking about millions of Ghana cedis here. So if you see any woman who is an MP, you should give them a lot of respect because the processes they have gone through. Some have to practically bring in family resources. So when I hear people say that MPs and politicians are in for the money, I do not think that is the only thing for the women especially.
Okay.
Because if the women are not there, I can bet you the men will take certain decisions that is not beneficial to all of us.
Okay. Okay, so Sheila, you've been quiet for a bit. Now we are zoning a bit out of the political scene and then coming to you. You are a CEO of a bridal company, a makeup salon and all of that. So you're in the beauty industry, right?
Yes.
How challenging has it been in your field, especially now that we see how the men are taking over, and you see there's something about us women. We say that, oh, if a man makes you up or if a man dresses your hair or makes your hair, it's even nicer because they'll do it to their taste so that if another man sees you, it's appealing. How challenging has it been in this economy?
From what you are saying, in my field as a makeup artist, for males doing what I'm doing, I don't see it as a challenge because there are some clients, who also feel the females can do it better because we know what we want. You understand? I feel the males are doing our work. People like it because it feels attractive, and then, you know, when a female is even doing what the males are doing, males or other people find it attractive as well. Let's say if a female is an engineer, if a female is a contractor, if a female is a mechanic, the male...
the opposite gender will find it attractive.
So it's the same way when it comes to my field, when the males are also doing the same thing as females are also doing. So I don't feel it's a challenge.
So you don't have any challenges in your industry?
No. We don't have challenges when it comes to the males doing what we are doing.
Okay. Okay, but then in our economy today, do you believe that women are being allowed to operate at our full potential as opposed to the men?
For me, I would say when it comes to entrepreneurship, as I'm doing, I think it's free. Women are doing a lot.
Okay.
Women are doing what they are supposed to do, and it's working for them. A lot of people. Yes. I can say, I don't even know how to put it.
What do you want to say? Or I should let you put your thoughts together.
Yes.
Okay, great. So now we come to the working class women, right? Right from infancy, we have seen the discrimination against the girl child, and it's only been the male or the boy child that has been empowered, right? Now we have women in politics. We have women in the various industries and sectors that we have in this country. And just like you said, a woman is has more empathy as opposed to a man. So in as much as we say that, oh, women are not exactly strong for certain roles, we know that if they are in those positions, they do even better because they will treat it as though they are treating their homes. right? Can we say that with this knowledge, the progress has been, yes, you said it's been painful and slow, but then there is hope for where we are today and where we are heading in the nearest future, and to give ourselves 5 to 10 years, women would be in a lot of better positions to help this country, develop the country the right way that we expect it to be? Ms. Deku.
Oh, well, yes, it's a process we are going through.
Okay.
And in the next few years, 10, 15 years, we're going to get women in different aspects and sectors of our economy. Right now, we have women who are training to become mining engineers.
Okay.
We have a few, but more women are now going in. We have women who are getting into all manner of fields, including politics. I mean, my mother's generation, our mother's generation, how many women were in politics? And if they were in politics, at which levels? But right now, you see women from all angles entering all political parties and pushing. So we need our women to be, for me, we need them to be in the political space. And I'm saying the political space, I'm not saying the other parts of the economy are not important. But it is politics that practically determine everything. Politics determine the price of your fuel. Politics determine the price of your food. Politics determine which school or the type of education your child has. Politics determine what comes into this country, your clothing. Politics practically determine everything. And it is policies. So we need our women in those areas where those policies and decisions are being taken. And that is where we fall short. We have a lot of positions that are manned by men who do not really understand what we go through. And let's not forget, the majority of our population is women. We are 50-something%. We are slightly more than the men. We have a lot of, when I see policies that are being put in place for the children and those who are socially disadvantaged, I'm talking about, and look at all those, it is women. You see women who are begging on the streets. You see women who, when there's an economic crisis, it is women who suffer. So we need policies that will cushion women. Unfortunately, our social, what we call it, social welfare system is nothing to write home about. When you have women who have been abused, where do they run to? Yes, men are abused, but a lot more men, I believe, will not sit down for their wives to abuse them. And because the men have the economic power, most of them, if you're abusing him, you pack his things, you leave the house. But we have a lot of women who have run away from abusive places. They have nowhere to go. Their families will not take them back. It is recently that families are understanding that it is better for your daughter to come back home whole than in a coffin. I mean, even when I was younger, divorce was
never part of that.
I remember when I was trying to get a divorce, it took a whole family meeting. I had to insist that I am no more happy in this marriage. My father didn't talk to me for 6 months.
After the divorce or during the process?
Because he was so disappointed. And I understood him. There's really never been a divorce in the family. Why do you want to be the first person to do it? But the point was that I was dying in there. But how many women have the courage and the strength to move out? And what is the support system that we have for them? And I'm very passionate about this family matter and the divorces matter because, and the abuse matter because a lot of women need to get out of certain situations. But they do not have any support. For people like me, I had a good family. I don't have to hide that. I came from a good home. Even for me, a whole year, my father never spoke to me. And it's not just him. When your daddy is not, he's the patriarch of the family and he's not talking to you, you can guess that their whole family, yes, they might talk to you, but the sort of support...
Because they don't want to upset your dad.
Yes. And the sort of, I don't know how to put it, especially when you also have the religion comes in. The church I was born and raised in was a church that divorce we don't talk about. You have to stay in and die. So I was one of the few who decided I was leaving. My church sacked me. I was sanctioned. I was disfellowshipped.
Wait, not to cut you, but did they ask for your reason of wanting to leave?
They asked for the reason. It doesn't matter. The fact that a lot of churches have different I don't want to go there. Yes. So especially when you're born and bred in those churches, all your social circles are there. Your friends are there. Your support system is there. And I was thrown out a single mother with 2 young children. So the support wasn't there. You have gone through a marriage that you are running away from. Your family may not be too happy with you.
No one to
and so
run
where
to.
do you go to? We are talking about feeding the children. We are talking, you might not even have a good job because when you get divorced, sometimes it affects your job.
Yes.
If you're an entrepreneur and you do your own work, the customers, they hear about it. Some people don't show up because they are stigmatized. If you are working in an organization, because you're going through stress, sometimes your work output, and nobody understands you. You don't know who to talk to because they start gossiping about you. So you keep a lot of things inside. Depression, that's the first thing. And I would want to talk about that because, you know, for a period of over 6 months, you should have seen what I was wearing. I was wearing jeans and kaba. It's not as if I don't have clothes, though. I had loads of clothes. But I was so depressed to the extent that I continuously wore one dress. Nice. I wash it, I wore it. Till a friend of mine asked me, what is wrong with you? Can you imagine kaba? It's not that African print. It is kaba for the slit. I like the slits.
And depression alone.
The depression alone, my exhibited in like not taking care of myself because I had to deal with taking care of young children, and by the end of the day, you are depressed. Imagine you go to work, you are known to look fine all the time. Then one day you show up in work in jeans and in kaba.
So you lost yourself and didn't have anybody.
It took me a whole year for a friend of mine saw me one day, you know, sat me down and told me, so what? It's not the end of the world.
What's wrong with your life?
But a lot of women, who will talk to them?
Sure.
And the financial support is so important because usually when you go through this, if the man is not a kind person or the situation of the marriage is sad that there's so much bitterness, he will not take care of the children. So you have to deal with that. He does not care. Most of them don't care. There are some kind men out there. Let me be very, very, very honest about that. That it doesn't matter what is going on. Their children are their priority. So the financial help will come. But when you have a man, you have to take to court before he takes care of his child. Who will pay for the court charges?
Yourself.
And if you are working, as I said, you're working on your own. I had a nursery school. I still do have it. At that time, I couldn't show up in school because the news had gone round that I was going through a divorce. Some parents actually took their children out of the school
because
I was going through a divorce, the stigmatization. So it got to a point I had to hand over the school to the headmistress and stay away. Otherwise, I was going to affect the things that, like my money and my students. And so I handed it over. And then you have this issue of people who don't understand you. And that is why I come back to the church again. The church is supposed to be a place of security. The church is supposed to be a place where you go when you are downhearted. The church is supposed to be a place for sinners, like the divorcee and whatever happened.
Being a divorcee doesn't, okay,
no,
well,
but you know, a lot of things that go through a divorce. And you know, churches say it differently. So you are considered a sinner. Understand that. But then the church is supposed to be a place for sinners. And then that church throws you out. And a lot of women have their social support systems from the church. The government doesn't provide that. Our systems haven't developed to that extent. So if you are asking about the well-being of women in an economy like ours, getting the divorce takes away a lot of your well-being, your economic power, your social power, your self-esteem. It is one. We have women who are practically, these young girls, or even women who are raped and abused. I mean, you have little girls who are raped, and then you go to the police station, there's no support.
Oh, so there was a time a neighbor or a friend's mother who is a victim of domestic violence. So my friend called me one day that her dad had beaten the mom again. I was with a friend of mine, so we went to the house, and this woman was bleeding. So we went to the hospital. They said to go to the police station with a report, to go and report. And we got to the police station. You won't believe what the policemen told us. They asked the woman where the husband was. She told them, and they told her to go and bring him.
How can she go and bring him?
Exactly. And my friend was so pissed, and he is in the limelight. So the policemen were like, there's no way you're coming to show off your celebrity status and all of that. If we don't have a car here, there's no fuel, blah, blah, blah. So if she can't, I'm like, if she can fight this man, or if she can bring him here, do you think she would set for him to abuse her this way? But that's what our system has come to to the extent where victims are made to suffer in silence.
Yeah, victimized
and
again.
then they can't even come out and talk about it. You mentioned that there are men who are equally abused, and this is in no way saying that men are not abused or men who are abused do not also have to come out. But how many men would want to bruise their own egos by coming out to say that, oh, my wife beats me or my wife slaps me or disrespects me or whatever?
As I said, the men usually have the opportunity to leave.
Okay.
Most men do not have to live with their children.
So they leave it for the
So
woman
they'll
alone.
leave. I mean, if the abuse is too much, he'll pack his things. He will not come again. And you get another woman who will take him in, who might treat him better. Now, how many men are prepared to take in a single mother of 2 children who have been beaten up? So as you're leaving, you're thinking about that.
Yeah.
Who am I going to? What will I do with these children? And so you stay in the situation.
And suffer.
And when you have the nerve to also leave, you are going to face the society and all these issues. When you were introducing me, you said I'm outspoken. Yes, this whole issue, I've always been an outspoken person. But going through this process taught me that you might as well say what you have to say. You might get insulted. People will insult you, but you have said it. And there's a sort of freedom and there's power in saying what you want to say and saying it as it is.
Okay.
Saying your truth as it is. I remember there was a political program on, let me mention the name of the network, Metro TV. And it was a Monday program. We were discussing, there was a population report. The Ghana AIDS Commission and the Ghana Population Council had brought in a report about young ladies, young children practically, who are getting pregnant from like 8 years all the way to like 17 years. And what they found out was, one, most of these girls were being impregnated by older men, far, far older men. And most of these older men were giving those young children HIV.
Wow.
I think this was about 3 years ago. I don't know about this year's report, but this was 2 years ago. And we were talking about it, and typical of our society, we wanted to push it under the carpet because we didn't want to, we don't want to upset people. But if you live in a country where 100,000 girls in a year between the ages of 8 to 16 years are being impregnated and being affected with HIV by older men, you think we shouldn't talk about that?
No.
So I went and I was like, look, let's stop being hypocrites. We have to start teaching our girls how to use contraceptives and using them well. Because you cannot stop them from going out to go and have sex. You can't do it.
True.
If we could have done it, they would have done it long ago. But we have all shrouded this thing in secrecy and, all manner of things. But then the girls are going and they are getting sick. Look, the insults I received for 2 weeks on Metro TV's network.
I can imagine. And they'll come to your DMs.
As for me, you won't come, I'll block you. That one. Or if I feel like telling you my peace of mind, I'll tell you.
Right.
And then I give myself as an example. And I'll repeat that again. I was lucky. I had a mother who explained things to me. And my sisters,
at a
very tender age because of what she was doing. She was engaged in the NGO those early years, if you remember, when the population was an issue, when HIV was a serious issue. Where she worked with, the organization she worked with, she was the programs director. She's passed on 10 years ago. But at that time, when we were young, she was really engaged in those things. So she brought home material. She talked to us, and we read it. So I had my first contraceptive, injection when I was 16 years. I worked to PPAG, Planned Parenthood Association at Rotipiokoshi.
And got it for yourself.
And I went to tell the nurses, I have started becoming sexually active. So please, I don't want to get pregnant. I want to finish school.
Okay.
They put me through the process. How many young girls can do that?
Not in our society.
What sort of empowerment are we giving the girls?
The education is
And
not
the person
also
who
there.
had the sex with me at that age was an older man.
Okay.
How many of you can talk about this matter?
You. Just you. I mean, everybody knows you.
That is what is happening in our society.
Right.
And these girls are getting pregnant. You should see an 8-year-old. I saw one in a front plains trying to have a child. Her pelvics are not developed.
Oh, Lord.
And we're so lucky we got there with nurses and doctors. Right on the banks of the river, they had a CS. That was one of my most traumatic experiences I had in 2005 when I was doing my university internship. I was doing it with World Vision at that time. It was terrible. And we have girls who are going through this in Ghana, and we don't want to talk about it.
Talk about it.
And you want to talk about the well-being of women in this economy. This is what is worrying us. And we have to stop being hypocrites and tell the truth.
Okay. Let's stop being hypocrites and tell the truth. On this note, we're going to go for a very quick break. We'll be right back. We are back in the studios, and tonight, I beg you, if you're not ready to hear nothing but the truth as it is in your face, please, maybe you might want to just mute your TV and look at us with signs, and then that would be it. So we are back in the studio. We are still talking about being a woman in today's economy. So Sheila, I'm coming to you. Okay. You have set up a business by yourself, and you're doing amazing. Can you take us through the process of beginning your business? Is it self-funded? Did you rely on someone to fund it for you? Because, you know, in society today, if a woman is set out to do something, to assume that, oh, there's a man behind it some way, somehow. Were you funded by some nice man somewhere, or is it solely yours?
Okay, so for me, I was lucky. My husband supported me.
Oh, you're married?
Yes, I'm married. And my whole business, my salon, before it came up, I had planned it in the room for like 2 years.
Okay.
Yes, and then during the 2 years, I got pregnant, I gave birth, and it was a plan that after my baby christening, I have to start putting up my salon setup and everything. Okay. So I think I was working around it for, within 2 months, I have set up everything. So people were like, how, like, you know, did you do it? When you plan in the room or when you plan behind the scene, people don't know how come you came up with all, but I had planned it like 2 years before it came out. Okay. Yes.
So basically, you had done your strategic planning.
Everything.
When it was time to go,
when I got the shop, within 2 months, I'm done with everything, and then I opened.
But funding in this time, you know how hard it is in the economy. How long have you had your business for?
For this, no, I've been in the salon business for just 2 months.
2 months,
yes.
Okay, so fairly new. Yes. We know that the economy today is hard.
It's very hard, yes.
How difficult was it with the purchasing of the product? Because I can imagine one hairdryer's cost.
It costs.
Did you do everything here in Ghana? Were some shaped? So how was the process?
Okay. So for mine, I had to contact a company who they do the salon setup. So they have to just do the fully finished something for me. They gave me an invoice. They came for site viewing. They have to do cross analysis. This will be here, 2 dryers, 2 chairs. Like there's the makeup side, there's the salon side, pedicure side. So they'll put everything together, give you an invoice. You check their rates. If you are okay, you just give them the contract and then they'll do it for you. Okay. So that's how mine came up, yes. Okay, so
how expensive was it? And then within the 2 months, do you think that it looks good? Does it look promising? Are you going to are you going to be able to get back your money's worth?
Okay, for 2 months now, I don't know who is trying to be in the salon business. Some people will hide these things, but for me,
please tell us.
It's good.
Okay.
It's promising, and I'm even trying to tell myself in a year time I have to open another branch.
Oh,
yes, it's good.
That is good.
Yes.
Does it have to do with the location? Because I know people who are also complaining.
I've been in my area where my salon is. I've been there for 8 to 9 years.
Okay.
I was a child growing up in the same area. I see people running business. I'll just go to school in Cape Coast and come back. I'll come and meet another new business. So living with my mom at that area, I was just telling myself, I have to also do something in that area. Yes. So that was what it was in my mind. So bringing up the salon, it was just like a problem solved in my area because I was just seeing these normal salons. I don't want to say they are not nice, but it was just normal.
So you wanted to bring the state of the art salon?
Yes.
Okay.
the East Legon kind of salon in my
Okay.
area because I live
Where's
in the
your area?
Kaswa.
Okay.
Yes,
So you modernize everything.
Yes, I was just seeing the normal salon. You go just one dryer at the corner, just
With the
some
rulers.
simple, yes, in some bowl. No, it's not stylish enough.
Okay.
And you know, people try to travel to East Legon for, you know, when they hear East Legon, they feel there are better
Yeah, there's
things
something
here.
posh.
Yes. So and there are some people who have money in my area, rich people, well-do, like ladies.
You cater to them.
So yes. So I wanted to bring that in my area, and then I set off the whole
So
thing.
clearly, she identified a problem in
Yes,
her area,
in my area,
and then
yes.
she dealt with it, and so it's working
And it's
for
going
you.
well. People are talking about East Legon, about Kaswa, and all that. Yes.
Yeah, they're rich Ghana,
Yes,
and that kind of
exactly,
thing.
exactly.
Okay. So now, you have clearly said that you're doing this because you were able to identify a problem in your
Yes,
neighborhood, and
yes.
now this is a way of
Yes,
solving that problem. Ms. Deku, would you say that women in general are being exploited when it comes to the labor market in our economy and in this country, as we are speaking to it, because it's what we live in? Would you say that, or would you agree to that?
Well, we do not earn the same pay with the men. It doesn't matter the level or what you're doing. I mean, we have accountants in firms, and the men seem to earn more than the women.
Okay.
That's because you don't have a mass negotiation for your salary. When you're offered a job, you have to go and negotiate on your terms with your experience. That's what a lot of companies are doing now. So they do not have set out, you know, they might have ranges of how much they will pay. But if your negotiation is such that you go below the range, they will not tell you that it's going to come below the range.
The range, sure.
So what we need to do is to teach our girls. I think we should even do it right from home and from school on how to negotiate for better salaries. It doesn't matter where they are. How to even negotiate for, like her, she has a business. When she was getting the shop, she would have to negotiate for the land if you built it yourself. How long would you build on it? What kind of lease do you have? If it is somebody's already built shop, how long are you having it? 5 years. And at the price. You know, it's all negotiation skills. And most women do not have that.
Okay.
You see a lot of women going for these business deals, and they are taking men along. I just had an experience with my niece. She just finished investing.
Okay.
She's going to do her national service. So she has to get a room around where the office is. And she wanted to take a cousin of mine, male, along to go and do the negotiation because she feels that the landlord or whoever it is will treat her better if there's a man involved.
Yes.
And my cousin wasn't around. So he asked me to go with her. And I had to, you know, impress on the landlord that I am a woman of my own strength. I know what I'm doing. But that is what it takes. If my cousin, her father had won, I'm sure he would not have to prove to anybody that he's competent. But because two women went, we now have to explain in our relationship that she's my niece. And why is it that I am the one coming and not her father? I was like, well, I take care of her, so why can't I come?
You were asked why
You know, can you imagine?
Wow.
And am I coming to live there with her? I said no. You know, those sorts of questions. So it's difficult for women and girls to negotiate for things, everything. Look, in negotiating for safe sex, it's a difficult thing. How to tell your boyfriend that use condoms. A lot of women have a problem negotiating with it.
Or even I'm not in the mood.
Or I'm not in the mood. Or how to tell your husband that I've had a child, my body is not yet ready for another child. So let me go do contraception or something. A lot of men will not agree. So a lot of women do this contraception on the blind side of their husbands.
Yes, it's true.
Because you know your body and you know that at this point, I cannot be having a baby every year. I need space to heal. So negotiation skills is something we need to teach our women, whether it is for the job, and those even in the high-flying jobs, most of them simply do not have any negotiation skills. So they go, what they are offered, they take. And you realize that the women, some of them are more competent than the men.
Okay.
But the men take higher pays because the men know how to negotiate. In this our society, we are not taught as women to be assertive. In fact, as for me, I know by now a lot of people call me a witch. Yes, because I am a very assertive woman, and I'll tell you as it is. Any woman who is assertive, if you are not a witch, you sit on a man, you cannot have a husband, you cannot have a boyfriend because you are assertive. But I do have a partner I've had for over 6 years, and he's completely happy with me. But our society thinks that because I'm assertive, you should see some of the insults I receive when I go on political shows because I am very assertive. It's the same thing. A lot of us are not assertive. It's like we are timid. So they go into, and I'm not talking about like those in the basic. I'm talking about female lawyers. I'm talking about female medical doctors. I'm talking about female engineers. And they are doing a lot of hard work, but the men pick more money than them because the negotiation when you were entering the job, you didn't know. Or you were just too timid to ask for it. So what the women can do is, one, learn how to negotiate. Two, find out about the job. So how much do they pay? It is easy to find out on Google.
On Google, true.
Find out. You want to go and work in an institution and you don't want to find out about the institution, ask questions so that at least you know their pay range. And then you can look at where you are coming from, your experience, and then you put yourself there and negotiate hard at it and let the people understand. The reason why Ellen, I'm a marketer by profession. So if you want me to come and market your goods for you, I have over 15 years experience. All I need to do is to go and stand on TV and your goods are going. Therefore, I deserve a cut of 15%. You talk confidently. You let them understand what you bring on board. And every employer, whoever it is, will be very happy to have you on board. Most of us are so timid. So our own achievements, we can't even talk about it. That is a typical Ghanaian woman for you.
We are afraid to.
You are afraid to ask for more.
Yeah.
And then we just accept.
We accept anything like that. And it's not just the job. So we accept any man like that. We accept any relationship like that because we have to. But you should have specs. You should have what you want. And you should be able to tell your partner, "Bra, I don't like this. This one you are doing, I don't like." In every sphere of your life, be able to. And I'm not sure the men will have a problem. I think most of the men actually want you to talk because sometimes they are at loss of what you want.
True.
But because we have been repressed right from childhood, I mean, look at our homes. When the woman is talking, they can want to now. But the boy is allowed to talk. I'm raising 2 boys.
Okay.
And it is my policy that you will wash your plates. You will get up in the morning, you will sweep. In my house, there's nothing for girl, there's nothing for boy. Because you are 2 boys. I don't have a daughter yet. Okay. So if you are expecting a sister from somewhere to come and clean up after you, you don't have any. And I cannot clean up after you at your age.
So you have to do
so
it
you have to learn. But in a lot of our homes, the girls are always in the kitchen. They are cooking, they are cleaning. And the boys are sitting down, either playing video games, watching whatever. And that is where it starts from. So the girl knows that when I go home, I'll go and cook and clean. Even in our marriages where women are bringing in money. There are some homes, the women and their jobs and where they are coming from, they bring in far more than the men.
But they still have to come
But then
home
the
and do
household chores. And you know what even annoys me? The man might not have time to work, like help you around. There are some men, even when you are bringing in help, they protest. They will not allow you to have, they don't allow you to have a house help. I know some men who will not allow their wives to have washing machines because, or see a person Atari. Can you imagine? A person Atari is wash your thing. They will not allow the women to have dishwashers. They will not allow the women, you know, the modern implements we need in the house. When the woman can afford it, you don't even buy it. I'll buy my own thing to make my life easier.
The question, what makes you a woman if you're not doing all of these things?
But then they've forgotten that our fathers were going to the farm. Do you go to the farm? Our fathers were hunters. Do you still go and hunt?
Okay.
You don't hunt. You don't go and bring firewood. You don't go to the farm. So why do you expect me, a modern day woman who can afford it? I'm not even asking you to bring your money. Me, I can afford. I'm bringing blender. I'm bringing dishwasher. I'm bringing, what do we call it? The one for washing machine. I'm bringing the vacuum cleaner, something that will help me out and let me do the work easier. You say no.
Okay. Sheila, she said a lot. Do you agree? Why do you think that in our society it's difficult for women to speak up for themselves? And with your shop, right? I want to relate this to you because you are on the field doing your own thing and all that. How difficult was it with the purchase? Did your husband have to front everything or did you?
Okay. So with what she's been saying, when it comes to the marriage side and the how men wants to limit you in the house and all, I was so lucky with the kind of man I live with. He is so different. You have to he always wants to see you doing. Go for it.
Okay.
You understand?
So he's supportive.
Go for it. He always tells me, I want you to be on top. I want you to lead and those kind of things. Yes.
Is he Ghanaian?
He's a Ghanaian, a fancy man. Like, I don't know how, like, who trained him. His mentality is so different.
Wow.
Yes, with the washing machine and all that, he will just sit down and plan your life for you. Like, after giving birth, when you are 3 months, I don't know yet. You have to get a maid. You have to do this so that you'll be able to go to work. But before my salon came up, it was just one shop. So, you know, when you get pregnant, you have some kind of break. You won't be able to go to work and all that. He just brought an idea that, why don't you take another one, like a double shop, make it big? Because right now, things are becoming like, things are coming up, okay? You don't have to limit yourself to a single shop.
Okay.
You understand? And then have to also listen to him and then go for the second shop. As Mommy was saying, when I was meeting the guy who would do the setup for me, I was also feeling some kind of like me being a lady, confronting him for the setup and all that. For the negotiating side, I have to bring my husband in.
Okay.
So when
what was the problem? Is it that you were not confident enough, or you felt that he might cheat you?
I felt he might cheat me, and then me being a lady, maybe the pricing, he will say it, because I just gave him my plan, and then he being a guy, sometimes, you know, these guys, they will think, hey, where is she taking this money? Yes. From? And it was true, because the kind of prizes he gave me when my husband came in, it was divided into two. Yes. Wow. So I just looked at him and I was like, how? So I made a meeting with you before my husband came in, and then this is what's
the
like
difference,
the total. Yes. So one way or the other, sometimes it helps.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let's assume that your husband was not in the picture at that point. Do you think that it would have delayed the process of you getting your shop done, or you getting what exactly, because this was your dream? So if your husband wasn't in the picture, wouldn't you still have been able to? As
Mommy was saying, if I don't have the negotiating spirit, if I don't have confidence in telling whoever I was working with, I think it might be delay. Okay. You understand? Yes. So that would be the only problem. But other than that, he made it. Yes, he made it easy. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, with everything that we have said, if it boils down to the fact that there are a lot of small-minded men around us who get intimidated by the progress of women or the growth of women, how can we, I'm sure, I won't even say solve, or how we can't, it might take time, but what can we do differently to ensure or to prove to these men that we are not in to get your right as men or take your positions as the leaders or the heads?
That was what I was saying. You see, sometimes if you're a married woman, I'm saying married because you're married. Yes. Sometimes the kind of man you live with, and maybe the father, your dad, you see, sometimes it's from the background. I was so lucky, my dad also gave birth to only 2, and then he trained me like a boy, like making me do things. Sometimes he would tell me, go and wash my car. And I'll just tell him, there's a washing bay, why should I go? I'm a lady. He would say, no.
Doesn't work like
yes. So he was an electrician. He would just take me to the field, fixing sockets. I was telling my friends, if I was still with my dad, maybe I would be like an engineer or electrician or something. Because he would take me to the field doing this kind of lighting things I was scared of, you understand? And then I was lucky to meet a man who also had the same mentality, pushing me more than I even pushed myself, you understand? So sometimes ladies and women fall to men that they don't even push them at all. Before I even got married, I had to meet a guy who had a problem with me driving at the age of 19 years, seeing his colleagues.
But he didn't have a car?
He didn't have a car at that time, and then his colleagues will laugh at him because his girlfriend is having a car, and then he doesn't have.
How long did you stay with him for?
Like 2 years.
Why?
You did well.
I did well.
No, like why?
It was too much. He always wants to see you.
So why were you with him?
I don't know. I have
you were
to
in
think.
Love?
somehow, but I was trying to change him, but I realized that was his attitude.
Can such people be changed?
Yes.
No.
I don't know. I
Because
tried,
your
but
orientation, like,
You can't.
that's what I'm saying, that it will be difficult to even say
the
that we
very
want
day
to
he mentioned that
change
to me,
this.
I was thinking about it. I wasn't complaining, but how can you say your friends will laugh at you because your girlfriend is
Whoever
driving?
he's with right now, I hope she's doing well.
I always see him and I said, I don't know who he will end up with, but his mentality is so different from who I'm living with as of now.
Okay.
So I see the difference, because I have lived with this person and now who I'm living with now, you get it. He will come, and then I started running a shop at the age of 18 years. And then at that time he was in school. So he will come and be, hey, Amma, you have this. And me, I don't have anything. How does he feel? Like, how people say? He's always about...
He cares more about society and all that. Okay, Miss Deku, I see you smiling and smacking. Can
I'm
small-minded men
No.
change?
No. I'm smiling because my daddy is still alive. And I keep on talking about him all the time. And I don't talk much about my mom because she's passed. But when she was alive, she was a very empowered woman. A very empowered woman. And she taught us that. And my daddy helped. In fact, my dad is the sort who will tell you that you can be everything and anything. And he will put his money where his mouth is. He will make resources available. So I also started driving at 18.
Okay.
Right from secondary school. And it was a whole lot of experience. You know, you have drivers who insult you. I started driving in 2002. And I also lived in Kaswa. That was when the overhead wasn't done. And I had to learn how to drive with cows crossing the road. And, you know, and you would get Ghanaian men who would insult you because you're a young girl, you are driving. And they feel that the car came from a sugar daddy.
Yes, exactly.
When the car was bought for me by my father. So most of it is the father you have. It's so important in a woman's life.
Okay.
If it's not your own biological father, it's the father figure in your life. It is so important, because it is that man who gives you confidence.
Yes, exactly.
My first restaurant experience was at London restaurant at airport. I was, I think, 10 years.
Okay.
I don't know if that restaurant is still working, but I remember. Daddy took me there. And so he introduced me to the fine things of life. So when I got to a certain point, a man cannot impress me. You cannot impress me with a car. I started driving when I was 18.
Our time
you
is up,
cannot
so you
impress me with, you cannot impress me with a lot of things. So it makes you confident. So your daddy is important. And then the women, we are also raising boys. It is important you instill in your boy child respect for women. It's important, because those are the ones who are going to grow. So when you have a boy and that you sit on, that you don't allow him to explore, you don't correct him, you make him start learning these things, then you become a husband or a small-minded man.
True.
So as a mother, it is important that you train your boys in such a way that they are nice to women, they respect women, and they know that the women can also do what they can do. It's very important. As for the older generation, we might as well forget about them. You can't change them, but you can change the young boys who are coming. And it's important. If we want our country to change in the next 10, 15 years, we have to target our young men.
So would you say in totality that it is better than before being a woman in today's economy?
It is.
Okay.
It is. I have to agree, because some of the things we've seen some of our aunties and things go through, we are not going through, but it's still not the best yet. And so we have to let our women also know confidence. Look, if the man is not good for you, he's not good for you. A man who is envious of my progress, I won't be around you. You did what? Two years.
You're very tolerant.
We are off. And with some of us in the limelight, it's extra difficult. I mean, I had a boyfriend who complained that when I go on TV, I look too good. So his mother is complaining.
What?
The relationship lasted 2 weeks. 2 weeks, we are done. Because I'm not going to change her. You saw me like this, and you liked it, and you came.
So what, the mother complained that you are too pretty on TV
yes.
or what?
I mean, I can't deal with you and your mother and your siblings. I can't, so you go. So you need to look out for men who appreciate you for who you are and are prepared to push you. That's why your husband is a good husband. He's happy when his wife does well. We have a lot of men who are not too happy when their wives do well, unfortunately.
It's true.
But then when your wife does well, where is she taking it to?
They even try to sabotage you.
A lot of men sabotage their wives because she's doing better than you. Will she take it to her house? You are married to her.
Yes.
It's for you and your children. So until those things are sorted out, as a woman, I beg, don't go in because you've turned 40, you're not married, or you're divorced, and you think that you need a man. Why would you want to stick with a man who is small-minded when you have a whole range of men you can pick and choose from? Why do you want to tie yourself to that? This one comes. He's not your spec. Bye-bye. Another one comes. Why not? Till you get what you want. I mean, I believe in that.
Yeah.
So that you don't tie yourself.
Feel changing too is a problem because
society frowns on it, and then they'll call you names or tag you
They'll
somewhere.
frown on it when you are married to him and you are going through divorces. But if I'm not married to you and you are not my spec,
okay, Sheila, what would you say to him? But tonight has been good.
Oh, it has been. And then I'll just add up to what Auntie is saying. It's a true women have to be precise about what we want because in as much as we are living and then trying to work, whoever we live with positively has to affect us. Because if you are living with a man that doesn't support you, there's nothing you're going to do that is going to work out. You understand?
Yeah.
Yes, so we have to check that aspect as well, yes.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Everybody in the studio has enjoyed, and I see stray bullets going flying at some of the guys in the studio. But see, in as much as we say that we have challenges as women, we can't also deny the fact that it has been good, or it is in a way very, very productive, or it is rewarding. The fight against equality, or the fight towards equality, and now we say equity, we see progress. We see it going better than it used to be, and we are hoping that in like 5 to 10 years from now, the story or the narrative would have changed. Women are doing significant in their respective fields, and I believe that we together as a united front can do even more. So I encourage everybody out there as women to support ourselves. Let's pull ourselves up together. I had the beautiful Sheila Ama Asari in the studio, Mrs. by the way, and also Miss Ellen Amadeku. Oh, both of you are Ama.
Yes.
No wonder. So in the studio as well, and it's been very, very interesting. We hope to see more of them, and trust me, it's going to be heated even more. Let's support ourselves as women, and let's stay together and strive for progress together. Have a great evening, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Oforiwaa.